If it's all right with you, I'd like to tell you a story. It's something that I think a lot of us can relate to and really need to hear. This is something that I think God showed me, but that He just put this picture in my mind. So just picture the words I'm saying. Imagine there's this path, right? It's going through this dense forest. You're on it with your father. He tells you, stay close by me. It's easy to get lost in these woods. They could be dangerous. Do not leave this path. Stay right here by my side, And at first you're listening really good. You're going through that path with your dad and it's cool. You're getting to see all the trees and stuff. But before too long, you start feeling kind of weary and bored, as life can get. And you start thinking about how cool it might be to just explore a little bit in those woods. But you remember what your dad said. You're like, okay, I gotta obey my dad. I gotta stay close by his side, but you keep thinking about it. And eventually you decide, I'm just going to take a quick stroll. I'm just going to go into the woods and come back real fast, just take a peek. And so you do. And it's amazing. You go into the woods and it's just gorgeous. It's beautiful. The birds are singing. The leaves are rustling, and it's just a really cool experience. And it's awesome. So you just keep going deeper in and you're just mesmerized and it's just so cool and amazing. But then before you know it, it gets dark. And it gets darker. And it gets darker. And it gets scary. And it gets terrifying. You realize now you're stuck in this dark forest. You have no idea where you are. You're completely lost. And you're a kid. So you take off running, trying to find the path. You just are desperately just running through that dark night in the forest. You're running into stuff, scratching your legs on the plants and all that stuff, and you're falling down and you're just desperately trying to find your way back until you finally collapse on the forest floor and you just cry. You just start crying out. And that's when you turn around and you see that your father was with you the entire time. You were never alone. He was right there. Despite you being terrified and feeling so alone, he was right there. This is what happens with us and God. We are following him and then life, happens and we decide to go our own way and make bad decisions and we get lost. And you know how it is. At first it's like, it's awesome, and then before we know it though, destruction takes over and we're left desolate. That's what happens when we go our own way. And so then we're there and we're desperately trying to just cope and get by and survive and not feel so horrible all the time. So we're doing, but then finally we get to the spot where we just stop and realize we're lost. And if you're in that spot right now, what I want you to do is just turn around and see that God has been with you the entire time. He hasn't left your side. You're not away from him. You're not hidden from him. He would never leave you alone. Just like that father and that child. So where do we go from here? This is what we need to do in these situations. Realize, okay, I'm lost and I need to get back to the path. How do we do that? We look our Father in the eyes. We see his outstretched hand as we're in that dark forest. And all we have to do is simply just reach out and grab it. When we have sin issues in our life, some of them can be so overwhelming and massive that we feel like we can't even think of ever being free from it. the thought it produces in us are so strong, and the temptations just take over, and we feel like there's no way we could ever be free. We're too lost. And that's true if we were only able to utilize our own power, but we have the power of the God that created the world. And so the good news is you don't have to be considering all the massive things you need to conquer in your life to be right with God. You're lost in that dark forest, and you need to find your way out. But God's hand is reaching out, and he's just saying, simply take it. He'll lead you to the path. He'll get you to the points you need to be at. He will worry about conquering these massive things in your life and going about that in a successful way. What you need to focus on is simply taking his hand, standing up, and then just one step at a time following him. He knows the way back to the path. It's something that God's been putting on my heart for a long time, and because I've been going through a lot of it. I hope this can help some people out there and inspire. I know it has me, and I'm thankful that God's a faithful, loving God. You know, we don't deserve his love, but he gives it to us anyway. We want to hide from his love, but it's there anyway. It's not our choice if he loves us. If it was our choice, I'm sure most of us would say, no, God, don't love me. I don't deserve it. But too bad. It's his choice, and he chooses to love us. And we have to accept it. No, it's not fair that he loves us. We don't deserve it. But he chooses to anyway. And that really is the essence of love. It's unconditional. He chooses to love us despite our sin and all of those things. So anyways, I'll stop my rambling. I hope this can help someone out there. I just thought I'd do this. I'd record it. So yeah. Take care, brothers and sisters.